Hello, everyone. Robert Allen here. Welcome to Successful People Live. People are jumping on from all around the world, which is kind of exciting. I see Simba there. Where are you from, Simba? And
I'm
I see
from Zimbabwe.
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 Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. What time is it there?
It's 11 p.m.
11. Wow. Zimbabwe. Hey,
I'm
Louis,
back
I see
again.
it.
I'm back
Nice.
again.
One of the originals. Let's see, where else are we heading? Anybody else calling from a wild place? Raise your hands and tell me where you calling from. You can unmute yourself, by the way. Little thing down in the bottom left-hand corner, the little microphone. If you want to, Sally's calling from Japan. I can see that. Sally, what time is it in Japan?
Good morning, Robert.
What time?
Crazy. Well, I'm gonna get there and start my power washing career.
Wow.
All right, brother.
I'm really looking forward to it. Oh shit, hit a bump.
Come in, everyone.
Maybe I'll get some wine or a blowjob out of it. I don't even care which
We
one.
got some.
If that works, you let me know.
I can mute everybody. We got James and Becky. We got Derek. We got Rashid. John Lee. John, my friend, it's good to see you. So, welcome everybody. This is the 16th of April. We sent out the wrong date. We might have confused some of you. We said that tomorrow is today and everything else, but we sent out a correction email. Hope you got it. Today is the 16th of April. At least so far. In Sally, it's the next day. So Sally is from Japan. It's actually the 17th of April there. But so welcome Scott, Yvonne, Mike, Ken, Tim. Welcome everybody. Good to see you. Good to see you all. So let's jump in. Call is being recorded, and we'll make it available for those of you who want to replay this. Let me show my screen, and let's get it started. Now, today, the 16th, we're going to be talking about the task map. And the task map is how you organize your life. Remember, last week, as we were ending the call, I was sharing a call that I'm going to do tomorrow. It's called $1 Million Mind Shift. And many of you attended that call. And I think we had a wonderful, fabulous attendance. And we just went over the top. I got emails throughout the last 4 or 5 days of people saying they couldn't make it. They went into their spam folder. They were working and they wanted to be able to have another shot. So tomorrow, again, this is the link for those of you who want to go to the Zoom call tomorrow called $1 Million Mind Shift. And I'll share with this with you at the end of the call today. It's for those of you who don't catch it now. This is going to be the link we'll use for tomorrow, April 17th, at the same time as this. So 24 hours from today, okay? Now, this is a copy of this little crazy book called The 4 Maps of Happy, Successful People. And many of you have been doing these 4 maps. I've given a copy of this book to you. If you don't have a copy of this book, you can send an email to me at connect@robertallen.com, and I'll email it to you. So you can all have a copy. And these are the 4 maps on one piece of paper. We've covered the first 3 maps, and now we're going to go into depth into map number 4. The first map on the left-hand side talks, the question that you're really asking yourself is, what do I want? What do I want? And most people don't ask that question. I picked up the next question for the next map is, what could stop me? And are you ready for it? And the third question is, how do I prepare? You know, every day on a daily basis, how do I prepare to be more successful every day? And then the final map is, how do I get it all done? And there's just kind of 4 questions that are kind of pondering in your head all the time. The first map we taught 2 weeks ago was the clarity map, which is how do you know what you want? And it's all about knowing what you want and getting really, really clear about it. And most people are not. First of all, they never ask themselves. And second of all, they don't get clear. So if you're not clear, then your brain doesn't know what you want. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. What could stop me is the anticipation map. So today we know what could stop us. This could stop us. This is the sudden storm. Like yesterday, or last week we talked, what is the sudden storm that could stop you? Here it is. If you're in the world, there are 2 million people that are affected. 141,000 people died. If you're in America, 30,998 people have died as of today. And this could stop us. And then, of course, the final question is, how do I prepare for all of that? This is a daily ritual we do. Now, I cut this out of the Sky magazine, March 2008, so this is 2 years ago. And Oprah is telling what her ritual is. How does she prepare herself? So I'm going to share with you what this article shared with everybody. She says, I usually wake up with a piece of positive spiritual literature. That's exactly what I do. And I have a box of 365 inspiring quotes, and I'll pull out one or two while I'm making my cappuccino or chai. Most days, a couple of people come to my house and help me stretch. So that's physical. I call them my stretchers, and then I'll run and meditate afterwards. She's got a ritual that she does. And before bed, she has a ritual. Before bed, it's my gratitude journal. I have volumes and volumes of journals I've filled over the years, listing whatever it is in that particular day that brought me pleasure or some sense of delight or happiness. It enhanced and ellipted my life in a way I can't even describe. So this is what she does. I'm not saying you should do this or you should follow the ritual you read about in the book, The Four Maps. That's my ritual. But do you have a ritual? What is Tiger Woods' ritual? Well, when he was younger, what was his ritual? I read the autobiography or the biography of Tiger Woods a couple of months ago. It was fascinating. Tiger Woods' ritual at 7. His dad gave him a cassette player and motivational self-help tapes. While most kids were listening to Michael Jackson's Thriller on a Walkman, Tiger was listening to Words to Make Him Great. Would you like to read what the words that he put on his wall were when he was 7? Are you doing any of this kind of thing with your kids? The reason he's great is because his father coached him to do this. So this is what's the words he posted on his wall. I believe in me. Wow. I will own my own destiny. Did that come true? I smile at obstacles. My will moves mountains. This is when he was 7. I focus and give it my all. My decisions are strong. I do it with all my heart. This may not be your ritual or the children's ritual that you have for your children, but what is your ritual is all I'm asking you. And sometimes it takes time to design a ritual. Few weeks for you to think about it. What do I really want to do to prepare my day? Stephen Covey wrote his ritual. Stephen was a real good friend of mine, and I helped him during the early editing of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And then I lent him my marketing director, Greg, was hired by Covey from me, as he was my marketing director, and he found a better opportunity. And I said, please, with all my blessings, let him go. So Greg went to work with Covey and was instrumental in making this book, a book that sold over, this is an old picture, it says over 15 million copies. I think they're at 30 million now. So his ritual, he says, I make an effort every morning to win what I call the private victory. I work out on a stationary bike while I'm studying the scriptures for at least 30 minutes. So while he's exercising, he's reading scriptures. Then I swim in a home pool vigorously for 15 minutes. Then I do yoga in a shallow part of the pool for 15 minutes. Then I go to my library and pray with a listening spirit, listening primarily to my conscience, while I visualize the rest of my entire day, including important professional activities and key relationships with my loved ones, working associates, and clients. I believe that the habit of constant reading of good books and scholarly periodicals and magazines in many disciplines is vital to give a larger perspective and to constantly sense the interdependent nature of life. I probably average 2 hours per day reading. Do you do that? Once again, this is a ritual he believed he could do, and he did it over many, many years. So it took him a while to establish this pattern. But what is your pattern? What's Warren Buffett's pattern? You know, what does he do? He wakes up at 6:45 a.m. He eats at McDonald's on the way to work. Once he's in his office, he hits the books. CNBC reported that Buffett estimates he spends 80% of his day reading. He recommends that people try to read at least 500 pages a day. Like Gates, Buffett enjoys unwinding after work over a good game of bridge, bed by 10:45. Beethoven, what did he do? Up at 6 a.m., write music till around noon, take a 2 to 3 hour walk in the afternoon, he's home for dinner. This was his pattern. This is how he created so much music. He worked when he was fresh in the morning till noon, and then he was exhausted, and then he went for a walk to kind of regenerate. So this brings us to the task map, and how do you get it all done? So, you know, this is the questions I want to ask all of you. You know, these maps are a place to hook or to hang the habits that build personal growth, that build a strong mindset. And when it comes to the ritual, it builds will. It builds self-will. It builds the ability to overcome the sudden storms of life. So every day, you know, I'm going to do that ritual every single day. I've done it for the last 17 years. And I do it the same way every day when I wake up. And today I wrote in my journal. So I do my study. About 2 hours a day I'm reading, kind of like Covey. And then I teach. I like to teach you. So how you get it all done is you have to simplify all the millions of things you could do. I was talking today to Irene, who is going to be starting with us on our brand new Idea to Income Masterclass next Wednesday. And we're going to be writing books over the next 90 days. And I talked to her personally today, got on the phone and said, welcome to the class. And she started to explain to me, she might be on the call. If she is, she'll be able to tell that this is exactly what we talked about. She started talking about all the ideas she could do. I could do this, I could do that. I could write a book on this. I got a speech I could give. And she was just throwing out so many things she could do. And this is the problem. And most people are too creative. They just got too much to do. And if you want to be really great, you have to say no to almost everything. She has to say no to all those creative ideas. And this is hard for a creative person to do. Saying no is willpower. And it's extremely important. Because when we get on the class next Wednesday and we launch 90 days from then, she'll have her book done. She'll be marketing, she'll be making money online 90 days from today. But it's because I'm going to tell her to say no to everything. She's only going to say yes to one money-making activity, maybe unless she has a job. One thing, one project. She's going to say no to everything else because over the next 90 days, she'll be inundated with opportunities everywhere. She could do this, she could do that. Your email is just filled with opportunities. You have to say no to all of them. Now, where did I learn that one from? I learned that one from Steve Jobs, the great one. And so let's talk about that. How do you get it all done? You get it all done by saying no to everything, almost everything. First of all, you draw your map just like this every day. This is your planning map. If there's any map you should do every day, it's this map. And first of all, this is where we are today, and you put the dates down there below on the bottom left-hand corner, but this is where we want to go. This is where we want to be 5 years from today. And We got 100 projects we could do, 100 things that are on our to-do list. You can still have your to-do list, but you have to do the three most important things first. So when you go into Steve Jobs' book, let's see if I have it here. Yeah. You read that book? It's a thick one. It's thick. And one of my favorite parts of this book is actually on page 378. And I thought it was very profound. Let me read it to you. Once a year, Jobs took his most valuable employees on a retreat, which he called the Top 100. They were picked based on a simple guideline. The people you would bring with you, if you could take only 100 people with you on a lifeboat to your next company. At the end of each retreat, Jobs would stand in front of a whiteboard. He loved whiteboards because they gave him complete control of the situation and they engendered focus. And ask, what are the 10 things we should be doing next? Remember, this is the most valuable company in the world. And how'd they get that way? Because when Steve Jobs left Apple, they lost focus and they almost went bankrupt. And when he came back in 1998, he threw away almost all the products they were creating. He says, this is crap. We're going to do a few things and we're going to do them insanely great. And then from 98 till, well, he passed away. When was that? A couple of years ago? This is what he told them to do. What are the 10 things we should be doing? People would fight to get their suggestions on the list. Jobs would write them down and then cross off the ones he decreed dumb. After much jockeying, the group would come up with a list of 10. Then Jobs would slash the bottom 7 and announce, we can only do 3. And that's how they ran Apple. What are the products that will be insanely great? Because those will be the ones that get done. And if they had 10 ideas that they're juggling around, none of them would have gotten done. At the end of the year, they would have been half done, a quarter done, 3/4 done. He said, we want to get stuff done. So the word done, you'll find out today why that's such an important word to me. Done is a word that we use in the task map. And so when you draw your task map, starts off, like this, blank, and then you draw 3 vertical lines like this, and you break it into 5-year plans, 1-year plan, and a now plan. And everything that you write down on this list must get done. In other words, don't write it down if your word is not good. If you can't keep your word, don't write it down. Only write the things down you know you will do that are so important to you that it's like your word. You're giving your word to yourself. And you're saying, this is done. Most people, when they write goals are old technology. Don't use goals. In fact, I want you to stop using the word goal. It's hard because it's everywhere. But the word goal is old technology. What do I mean by that? Well, think of a goal. Think about something you want. Imagine your dream house. Where is it? Imagine it. And when you imagine it, your eyes are going to go up and to the side, and you're going to imagine it, and you're going to create something that doesn't exist. That's what imagination does. And so you'll imagine something that doesn't exist yet. And as you look up and your eyes go up and to the side, you are literally tapping into a part of your brain that's hopeful, that maybe, it's a maybe part of your brain. It's like, let's hope you get this done, might be able to get this done. I want you to go out into the future and don't think of your goals, as Neville said, a quote from Neville, don't think of your goals, think from your goals. So I'm going to change the phrase just a little bit. Don't think of your goals, think of your dones. So when you go out into the future, I want you to imagine what you want, not as if it hasn't happened, but as if it's so intensely important that it's done, that it's finished. And I want you to imagine it having completed it. That's why this virtualization means having going in the future and virtually imagine that it has been completed. How would you feel? What would you say to yourself? What does it look like as you're standing in your done lifestyle? It's complete. You're living it in your mind virtually in advance, done, finished. Therefore, you're shifting it in your brain to a place that's a different place in your brain. You're shifting it to a done place, a place where it's finished. It's completed. Now, would that take away the power? Because sometimes you want something really bad and you haven't achieved it yet, then you'd like to, imagine yourself doing it, imagine how good that would feel. No, I want you to imagine it as if it's completed. It's going to do several things for you. First of all, it's going to make you believe that it's possible. You're basically sending a signal to your body, this is what I've already done. Therefore, you're going to speak with more congruency. Although it's not yet completed, your brain thinks it is. And therefore, you speak differently about your dones. You speak differently about them. You speak to them as if they've already occurred. And people, the signal comes off your body like, well, if I can do that, what else could I do? It's like pulls you into the future beyond your done. There are a lot of scientific reasons for why I teach it this way, but when you hear somebody say the word goal, I want you to realize, at least in my opinion, it's old technology. How many books have you read on goals? And did they work? Most people's goals don't work. So why the heck are you setting them? I want you to set your dones. I want you to say, these are the things that are done in my life. My word is my bond. And therefore, I'm not going to write it down unless it's done. Therefore, it forces you to get more realistic in your goals or your dones, which is exactly the opposite of the way most people teach it. They tell you, think big, stretch your mind, think bigger than you've ever thought before. I have a friend of mine who's written 5,000 goals because it stretches your mind. Well, maybe it worked for him, but I don't have 5,000 goals. I have 3, and they're really important. And I don't add anything to that list unless one of them is completed now, and then I'll add another one. And sometimes it takes me less than 5 years. Sometimes it takes 2 or 1. But these are my projects. This is what I'm focused on. And this, as you're brainstorming, at first, this map is a little challenging because it forces you to write things down that you're not quite sure about yet. So you're going to be not solidifying your dones quite yet. You're going to write it down to see how that feels, Am I willing to commit myself to that? Is that really? And you'll find yourself saying, you know what? I really don't want that Lamborghini. Really, I don't want that Lamborghini. If you ever sit down with somebody and you ask a person face to face, a little exercise called, what do you want? And then they tell you, and they say, what do you want? And they'll tell you some more. What do you want? Eventually, after about 10 minutes of this, they get down to what they really, really want. And most of the other stuff is just stuff, just stuff. What's really important? My good friend, the guy that wrote the Who Moved My Cheese, my good friend that I can't remember his name right now. Yeah, put that in the chat, somebody. Chat. Who moved my cheese? Who stole my cheese? Who? And he also wrote The 1 Minute Manager. Not Spencer. It wasn't Spencer. It was his other partner. Thank you. It was Who Moved My Cheese by, no, it wasn't Mark Victor Hansen. No, No, the 1 Minute Manager. How about that? Do that one. Why am I blanking on his name? Anyway, in 2007, there you go, Ken Blanchard. There you go, Ken Blanchard. We actually called Ken, Mark Victor Hansen and I, we called Ken before we wrote The 1 Minute Millionaire, because we know his book, 1 Minute Manager, was very popular. We asked permission if we could use The 1 Minute Millionaire as the title. He gave us permission. We know him. And 2007, his house with 30 years worth of stuff in it burned down. It was in the San Diego County, beautiful house, beautiful view, gorgeous, his entire life. Big fire blew through, burned his house down. He went to Larry King. He said, Larry. Larry says, come on, Ken, you lost everything. What are you going through right now? And he said, well, you know, I read a book once and there was a person who said you should put a sticky note on all the things in your house. And you should put two labels. One label is stuff and the other label is important. And as you go throughout your house, you put these little labels everywhere you look. And he realized, you know, most of my house was filled with stuff. It was just stuff. You know, the important stuff, my family, my friends, my relationships, my customers. These are important. We'll build another house. Maybe we'll make it fireproof this time. But bottom line is, you know, the things that you want, most of it is just stuff. And you'll learn that. For those of you who are still struggling to get your first dream car, you'll learn when you get that first dream car. It's great. You check it off your list. It was part of your bucket list. You did it. Congratulations. And it gets old and it gets scratched. And then after a while, it's not all that exciting anymore. And when you go get another one, try another new car. After a while, it's not all that exciting anymore. It's just stuff. It's not important. That's the way I look at most things anyway. So your map is making sure that the projects you set are important, that they are life-defining, that they represent who you are and what you really want. Now, there are personal things you can put on this chart and professional things. Your personal things are the things you work on every morning in your ritual. So it's not something you have to work on as a goal, as a done. These are things that you do every day. You're working on your health, you're working on your mind, you're working on your spiritual values, you're working on your relationships. These are things you do every day. So that's why for me, I can set some personal bucket list things for things I personally want to do. And I can create a personal chart like this. For me, mine is a professional chart, and my professional chart is a purpose chart. It's meaning, as a professional, what do I do? Who do I reach? How do I reach them? Where do I reach them? Why do I reach them? The same 7 questions I ask for myself and for my personal goals and dones. Who are the people I'm supposed to reach? And what projects am I going to create in order to accomplish that goal? See how hard it is to get rid of the word goal? That objective, we'll change it to the word objective. It's not the same thing. So I'm going to write down three projects. You know, I'm going to write down this project I'm doing with you right now. Project number 1. It's me creating a way to teach people what I've learned in my career, especially when it comes to making money and personal growth and things like that. That's important to me. And you need to have numbers attached to it. In other words, people will write down their dones, these things these are their ideals. Actually, the first chart, the first label of the 5-year objective are called ideals. These are your ideals. This is what I really want. And I just have 3. And I'm going to write down 3. And I'm not only going to just write down the three, I'm going to write down numbers to quantify how I'll know if I've reached that done. So people will constantly show me their task maps, and I'll look at their ideals, their three, and they'll say, to write a book. They'll write that down as one of their ideals. And I'll go, that's not enough detail. Your brain doesn't have enough information. You need to be much, much more specific so your brain will really get to work on it. Other than that, it's just wishful thinking. So tell me, what's the book about? What's the name of your title? Okay. When will you be what date will the book be published? On or before this date, 5 years from now. Great. How many copies will it sell in its first year? See what I'm saying? I'm getting really specific. Now, if you're in a business and you're marketing a product, how many customers do you have? How many successful customers do you have? If it's an income stream, what does that earn for you? So I'm going to not only, I would say, what is the title of your book, but I would say, and what did it earn you 5 years from now? What does it earn you per year? It just makes it more real, more realistic. And then I want you to go out in the future and imagine you holding that book, pulling it off your library shelf with your name on the spine as you pull it off. You open it up and you read the words you wrote. And I want you to feel the book in your hand, feel it as if it's real. And I want you to feel what it feels like to have the respect of what happens when people look at you and you're introduced to you and they say, oh, it's good to meet you. Tell me, what do you do in this world? What's your career? What's your professional? And you'll say, whatever you say, this is what I say, I generate multiple streams of income. And one of my favorite streams of income is royalties. They go, royalties. I say, isn't that cool? I love that word, royalty. You say royalties. And so I earn royalties. And I teach people how to create royalties. And then of course, in my ideal, I'm going to go into detail on that. How many people, how many books have they published? How many millions of people have we reached as a group? For you, you write down what it is you want to do. And just like Steve Jobs, you're going to say, we have 3 projects and we can only do these 3. The reason I'm going to give you 5 years to do them and not just 3 or not just 1, Steve Jobs was saying to his team, 5, you have 3. You have this year we're going to focus on, but those projects took more than 1 year. And the very next year, some of those 10 items would come up and 3 of them would probably be still on the top of the list. They'd be working on them for several years. So that's why I'm going to give you 5 years, and I want them to be your ideals. You ideally want this life. And these are the 3 projects. And they're probably going to be money-oriented projects. Purpose-oriented is because that's what you do with your life, but it'll generate streams of income. If it doesn't, maybe it's a charitable thing. That's 5 years from now for you. Great. What's the name of the charity that you really want to identify with? If you don't have the name, then what is the problem you're trying to solve? Great. Are you going to start your own foundation? Super. Zuckerberg started Facebook, and now 99% of his money goes to this foundation that he set up, and he gives it all away. 99% of his money. He knows the name of the foundation, and he knows how much money is going into it and where it goes from there. Do you? How much money do you want to give away 5 years from now? Make it specific. So your brain goes, the more specific it gets, then it gives you more links to the things that you will experience as you go through the next 5 years. You'll start to see other people who have that same goal that you do, the same objective. You'll see other kinds of charities that you resonate with. And maybe you'll say, I think I was going to start one, but this one is doing it now. Maybe I'll just raise money for them. And how much will you raise? $1 million in 5 years from now. Okay, great. That it done for you? Are you willing to commit yourself to that? Is this your commitment? Is this your word? See, don't write it down unless you really, really commit to it. You know, if you're just writing down the number 1 million, everybody does that. Is this really, really true for you? Do you really think you can pull that off? I prefer you come from, not only you're looking at your future as what you would like to accomplish, but you're also dealing with the current mindset. And people say you should stretch your mindset. Well, this is what we'll be doing. We're stretching it. But when somebody comes up to me and they go, yeah, I'm going to make $50 billion. And what do I say to that? BS. BS. You're not going to do it, and nobody you know is going to do it. Talk to me some realistic numbers. Well, $500,000. Okay, that's realistic. You could do that. Then, as you're drawing your maps, and you start seeing the possibilities, you can adjust your maps. They are new every day. And if you you tap into a stream of possibility that is really taking you swiftly towards what you want to accomplish with your future life, then maybe you add a zero to it. Now you make it 5 million. And then you make it 50 million. But start with a number where you're. Let me tell you why I'm teaching you that. Your brain has been trained for decades to think the way it thinks. So in, like the late 60s, there was a guy who wrote a book called The Lazy Man's Way to Riches, Joe Carbo. You ever heard of that book? The Lazy Man's Way to Riches. So he buys a full-page ad in the Los Angeles Times, and he says, earn $50,000 a year the lazy man's way. And nobody responded to his ad. It was just a trickle. And he was an ad guy, and he bought a full-page ad. This is the way they tell the story. And he goes, this is good copy. This is good copy. I'm going to sell the book for $12.95 or something like that. How to earn $50,000 a year, the lazy man's way, something like that. And he just had this intuition. You know, it's the number. It's all the text is great. It's just the headline. And it's just the number in the headline. He changed one digit in the number and became a multimillionaire on the same ad. And the ad was how to earn $20,000 a year the lazy man's way. He lowered it. And he lowered it into people's, so that it was something they could see. They couldn't, because in 1968, 50,000 a year was like 500,000 a year. It was just too big of a number. Now, I'll tell you the opposite story. You can put too small of a number too, and you're below people's radar screen. But the bottom line is, I want you to pick a number that's realistic. It's in the possibilities for you, and then double it. Maybe times it by 10. See, the reason for most people, they were making 4,000 or 5,000 a year in 1968, and so he quadrupled it. And that was aspirational. People say, yeah, I think I can do that. And so they did. They made millions of dollars from that crazy full-page ad for many, 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 many years. So I'm going to have you speak to yourself in a number that's realistic, okay? Now, back to our chart here. I want you to send me, many of you have been sending me charts every day. Stop it. I don't only want to receive this one. And if it's not specific, I'm going to send you back a response and say, not specific enough, your brain doesn't know what to do. I'm going to spank your hands. The 3 projects you want to accomplish need to be detailed, not pages and not paragraphs, but enough in a sentence or two that your brain can go, let me see how that works. Because your brain is a computer. If you say to your brain, I want to be financially free, what does that mean? That means nothing, because there's nothing to compute. What does financial freedom mean to you? How does your brain know what to compute? This is the most powerful computer on the earth, your brain, and you give it this fuzzy stuff, doesn't know what to compute. So tell it these are 3 things I want, and these are the details about them. Give it some numbers to compute. 3 projects. Why 3? Why not 4 or 5 or 6 or 10? Steve Jobs, that's enough said. You're going to find it hard to narrow it down to 3, most of you. Narrow it down to 3. And these are your ideals 5 years from now. So you're going to put the date on there. If you're drawing that map today, it would be the 16th of April, 2025. By this day, these 3 projects will be done. I will be on to my next 3 projects by this time, but these will be done. So a done is the next 1-year project. And the reason they're different than ideals are, your ideals are still a little far out there, and we hope to be able to pull those things off. But when I say done in 1 year, that means, hey, this is a realistic time frame. I can pull this off in a year. And I can give me a year. Yeah, I can get this done. And therefore, your done in 1 year is 1/5 of the goal or the objective for 5 years from now. See, you're going to break down your done, your ideal, into 3 chunks. The 1-year objective, and then the 1-day objective. What must I get done today so that in 1 year, this can get done? So that in 5 years, I'm living my ideal lifestyle with this project. So I'm going to ask, it takes a little while to kind of reorganize your brain so that you're saying, what do I got to get done today? What must get done today? That's why this picture is when I teach it, this is me teaching in China, and I'm going, what must get done? In other words, no fooling around. What must get done? And on a daily basis, if you get those 3 things done, since they're musts, this is the way we describe them. What's your must today? Once they're done, you do them first. You put the big rocks in your jar first. Then you can do anything else on your to-do list. Go waste your time on other things. But these 3 must get done. And they are directly linked to the next done in the 1 year and the 5-year ideal. So for example, if your ideal 5 years from today is to have a 6-pack ab, 6-pack abs, and to have 5% body fat, and that would be what you wrote down, then where would you need to be in 1 year from now? Maybe you're down 40 pounds or something. Then what would you need to do today? Well, in order for me to achieve losing those pounds so I could get to the 6-pack, it might be do 50 push-ups today. Whatever it must be done. So as soon as you check that off your list, that means you're on track over the next 365 days to accomplish the done in the 1 year, which is 1/5 of your ideal. You're there, you did it. And now you are on the path in the next year to continue towards your ideal. So every project, reverse engineer it. You take its 5-year ideals and reverse each one to their 1 year done, and reverse each one of those to their 1 day must. And this thinking, this way of thinking, I'm trying to teach you how to organize your brain and how to to change the way your brain works so that it's focused on only a few objectives, a few things that you're going to make happen, and you're going to make them happen. You're not going to hope that they happen. You're not going to wish that they happen. If I wrote it down, they must happen. Not only they must happen, they must be done so that I am absolutely living my ideal lifestyle when it comes to that project. I must make it happen. Make it happen. It means you're going to find that make it happen people in your life. You're going to put down a list of all the people you know, 100 people you know, 200 people you know. You go down the list and you're going to ask yourself, is this a make it happen person? Or is this a dreamer? A make it happen person is look at what they've done in their life, not what they want to do, but what they did. Is this a make it happen person? You're going to boil down your list to about 10%, 5 to 10%. If you have a list of 100, you'll have 5 or 10. And they'll be make it happen people. It means something needs to be done. You got to get them on your team. You got to at least ask them what they would do if they were in your position. You got to brainstorm with them because you want to identify and to emulate a make it happen person. Someone who makes it happen. It's not pretty sometimes. It's actually pretty messy sometimes, but they get it done. So an example of that is, as I was reading the biography of Mitt Romney when he was running for president, and there was a story in there about him being on his money-making company. Can't remember what it is now. It'll come to my mind. And he was working in Boston, and he had a couple hundred people on his team. And one of his partners came in and said, "My daughter's missing. My daughter's missing. We can't find her." Mitt stopped everybody in the middle of their projects. Said, "No more work. Stop. 200 people. Go look for her. Stop work." That's a make it happen person. Because he had the power to make it happen. Because he was the boss, and they owed him. He'd probably give them lots of benefits too. And so 2 days later, they found her in New York. And they brought her back, and everybody went back to work. That's a make it happen person. They brought him in for the Olympics here in Salt Lake City, and the Olympics was a mess. It was a mess, and way behind schedule. And so they brought him in. Why? Because he's a make it happen person, and it happened, and it was great. So you have people on your database that are like that. Emulate them. Put them on your to-do list and talk to them and mentor with them and put them on your mastermind. Lots of things we could share there, but we don't have time today. All right. We are closing in on the end of our call today, but I wanted to finish this map. So in 5 years, you'll have done 5,475 musts. And you'll have 3 dones a year, so you'll have 15 dones, and you'll have 3 ideals that'll be completed and finished. This is the success pyramid. This is what it'll look like. It requires enormous willpower to not be distracted by 1,000 other ways of doing it, of succeeding, and to stick on track and on target. That's why every day you do your ritual, because that builds your willpower. Google the Warren Buffett quote about, "I say no to almost everything." The reason he has about 50 companies that he owns. He's the second largest person in the history of the world. How did he get that way? He buys very few companies, but when he buys them, he goes all in, and he never sells them. That's his plan. He buys very few, and he does sell, but very, very few. So my challenge to all of you is to send me this task map with details to it. Don't send it, "I want to be financially free" stuff. Don't tell me, "I want to lose weight. I want to be healthy." Sorry, I'm going to send it back. Not good enough. Send me a map that your brain can compute with it. Your brain is a computer, so give it something to compute, some numbers in there. You say, well, how do I compute? I want a loving family. Great question. I want the lifestyle with the love of my life. How do you compute that? How do you take things that are important and monetize them, or numberize them? You know, when Blanchard lost his house, he lost all that stuff, but how does he get back onto the important list? And how do you numberize it? Well, what are the things that your family has accomplished? What are the things that they have done? What do you want to help them do? They become part of your ideal plan. I've got, you know, these career, you know, specialists in my life as part of your family. Your spouse, you have a date you go every week? How do you have an ideal life, an ideal home that you're building for that relationship with the love of your life and your family? You know, there are things that you can add to build things that are important, and you can numberize them. Good luck trying. It can be challenging. But your brain wants to know how do you know the fruit? You know, as they say, the Bible says you know them by their fruit. So what fruit do you want? You know, what does the fruit look like? How do you know you achieved that objective? What's the fruit you're enjoying? What's the number that can you attach to that fruit somehow? And these 4 maps are ways in which you think. Now, last week, I asked you to share with me the names of people you would like to see on this call. This is called the Successful People Chat every single week. We're going to continue to do this till coronavirus is behind us. And I've been reaching out to my friends. Brian Tracy said yes. We're just scheduling the time right now. And I want to bring him onto this call. I'm going to say, Brian, tell me, what's your ritual? You know, Brian, he has one, no doubt about it. He's the most productive human being I know. He can work all of us under the table. He's unbelievable. And he's the smartest man I know because he's read the most amount of books. And more importantly, he's written the most. He's like at 80 books now. It's ridiculous. So, you know, who else do you want to make sure? Bain Capital, thank you. Somebody put into the chat. Over as we go throughout the time, we'll be bringing on people, not every month, not every week, but at least once a month. I want a top leader on this call. And I'll let you know in advance who's coming and when, so you can plan your schedule around it. And I'd like you to be there live so that you can ask them questions and they can feel like they can see your faces. I want them to see your face, like I see your faces. Yeah, I want to see you're there, you're real. Nikki, you know, and I want to see Gail. I want to see Sally. I want to see Mike. Hey, Tom. I want to see Victoria and Ken and Kenneth and Julie. And so Successful People is my gift to you. If you want to tell me what you'd like to learn, if there's a question that you're really burning to know the answer to, I may not know that answer, but I'll try to find somebody who does. And many times I'll know the answer. At least I'll give you my take on it. So you can, well, you're doing a little bit better. Carla, fighting fever? Okay. Well, Carla's there. Very good. Anyway, you have my email address. You can always send me an email. This is what I'd like to learn. This is a question I'd like to have answered for me, Bob. This is Bob for free. And I'm here to help in any way I possibly can. I've got 50 years of experience in trying to figure out some of these answers. And if I can be valuable to you, thank you, Ken. I'll be happy to do that. Now, as a very beginning of our call, I told you about this call we're going to have tomorrow. Very rarely I'm going to have any kind of promotion on these kinds of calls, but because the class starts next Wednesday, we're going to have one more call tomorrow for those of you who weren't able to make the call last Friday. And many of you have joined with us, and you're going to be with us next Wednesday when we get started. Some of you are so brand new to this, you don't even know we start next Wednesday yet. But the bottom line is, Friday, tomorrow, I'm going to give you a free copy of the $1 million mindset, mind shift book, 8 ways to 8 steps to turn your ideas into exponential income. And so I'm going to bring my business partner on tomorrow. We're going to share with you how to do it. We're going to go through all 8 steps with you tomorrow and give you a free copy of the book. And if you didn't get a copy of that book, if you were with us last time, come again. Some of you, I don't know, did any of you attend that call last Friday? Let's see if any hands. Okay, there's some of you. There's Laurel. Yeah, Laurel, I remember your email. Yeah,
Yes.
good. Very good. Hey, John was there. Yeah. So
Yes.
if you weren't there, don't miss it, because this is the last time I'm going to do this. In terms of to this database in this way. And so tomorrow, this is how you get there. Let me share my screen with you. This is the link. Assuming you want to make this coronavirus crisis something where you can brag about it and you can say we made money during this time. So the Zoom meeting, this is the Zoom link. Now you can't click on this obviously because we're in a PowerPoint, but you can take a photo of this or you could copy it down. I'll put it into the chat. Yeah, that's how you could link. You could click on it. Let me put it in the chat. There we go. I'll copy that and I'll put it into the chat here. Okay. All right, into the chat goes the link. There we go. Now I'm going to scroll up and send the chat to everybody. I learned how to do this last week. Okay, here we go. Copy that into your browser. Be there tomorrow. I guarantee I'm going to give you a bunch of free stuff you'll love. It's really what I was born to teach. And some of you are going to join on that process with us. Some of you at least get the free book so you can read it and know exactly what I'm doing. And when you read the free book, it's called $1 Million Mind Shifts. When you read that, I'll teach you 8 steps. You'll have the entire book for you to read and study on your own. It'll tell you exactly what I'm doing in the middle of this crisis and what I think you should be doing. A lot of people are selling products, physical products. This is one of the reasons that when you have a company with a lot of employees where you're shipping out a lot of physical products, it's really difficult. But when you have a stay-at-home problem like we have here, selling information is the fastest thing to sell. It's the best thing to sell. So, because hold on a second. Here we go. The reason it's the best thing to sell is because the costs of delivering it are free. And so you can sell something that has high value where your cost of goods sold is 0. And it's just a no-brainer. For example, suppose, here's the link again. And there's the book I'm going to give you. If you don't have it, come get it tomorrow. And you got to come to watch this tomorrow. Don't send it out without watching it because I need to know what it contains. There's a gal in, I got a call from one of my business partners in Taiwan, and they're having challenges, not as much as ours, and he said, one of my students, she's a hairdresser, and they had to close her. They had to close her shop. She doesn't have any more customers. And I'm going to tell you what I would tell her. All these stores that have shut down, when they're gone, they didn't realize that they were in the information business, not the product business. Write this down. Every business is an information business. Everyone. What do I mean by that? It means that when you're selling a physical product, your customers want to know information about that product. Therefore, if you wrote an ebook to send to your customers, to tell your customers how they could get through the coronavirus crisis, using your product, they'd read it because it's what they call news hacking. News hacking is when you take what's going on in the news and you hack it and you attach it to your product. That's called news hacking. And that means that all the businesses that are closed because they can't sell their products could sell information. Because all of the information, people still want the information and it's free to provide. So I would say to that lady in Taiwan, I'd say, ma'am, do you have the names of your customers that used to come in every day? She probably doesn't. But then I would say to her, when this store opens up, you get the name of every customer that walks in that door and you communicate with them regularly because these are your people. Let's assume she has a database. So that's like 250 women, right? What would she do? What should she do? She should teach those women how they could do their hair at home. Seems like, whoa, that's crazy. Well, they can't come into her shop, so at least she'd be helping them. I was watching on TV the other day where where all the shops are closed and a company that was selling products to the shops, and now the shops are closed. So all this product is sitting inside their stores, but now they're marketing the products to people who are stuck at home, and their hair care products have increased their sales 1,000% because the customers are buying the products directly from the company. So I would say to the lady in Taiwan, sell the products to them in their homes. Do a video, a Zoom call just like this and show them how to do their hair. Teach them. Be a teacher, not a hairdresser. Turn your business into teaching, not selling products. And this all comes from a chart from this is the product pyramid. The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes. If you learn nothing today, learn this. 3% of your customers want what you have right now. If you're standing in front of a stadium filled with people, 3% of them are wanting to buy something right now. And all kinds of things they want to buy. But 3% of them are actively seeking something to buy this very moment. But only 3%. 7% of them got their credit card out and they're looking real hard. And there's where most businesses focus, on those 10%. And they don't even have the names of those people. 30% are interested. 30% don't know they're interested yet. And 30% will never be interested. Never. I will never buy a bra. Never. So don't advertise to me. Never. But 30% are like maybe, and 30% are some probably, and 7% are yes, and 3% are hell yes. So what happens is the businesses, they don't become information businesses. They are always looking for the hot clients, and this is who they're advertising to. And this is where your business is right there. And you need to do both. You need to, of course, find the people who want it now, but you need to educate the rest of them. And this is what, that's why I say every business is an information business. You need to be educating and giving away free information, sharing with people, giving, educating as much as you possibly can. Why? Because eventually some of those people will become customers. And if they're not customers, then at least you're showing your goodwill in sharing with them. So I suggest you do the same thing. And I would say the same thing to that lady in Taiwan. ma'am, go help your customers. Teach them how to do their hair at home. She says, but then they'll never come into my shop. Oh, yes, they will. Oh, yes, they will. They'll be back. But if you'll teach them, that's why they'll come back. When the coronavirus is over, they won't find anybody else because nobody else is trying to teach them. Everybody else is still trying to sell them a product, and you give, and then once you're showing them which product you use, you say, now this is the product I recommend. There are other products you can order online, but I like this one. If you want me to send this to you, I will be happy to. But there are other products you could get too, and in other words, you're very transparent about it. And so she would sell products from her shop with nobody in it. Nobody's there, but she'd be teaching her customers. And when it comes back, they'd come back, they'd give her hugs, they'd share, they'd love her because she was trying to help them solve a problem. Anyway, we've gone over our hour. So sorry. We're going to shut it down now. Any final questions? The name of the pyramid is called I can't even remember. It comes from Chet Holmes's book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. Chet's no longer with us. He died in his 50s. Is partnered with Tony Robbins, but he's no longer here. But his book is here, and I'm teaching it, right? So, any other questions? You have the book. Very good, TJ. Every business is an information business, and you need to be changing your thinking about what you're selling. If you're selling products, fine, but you need to be selling information or giving information about your products. Well, there's just a whole lot of, on the class next Wednesday, we're going to go into great detail on that. Okay, good. Any other questions? Thought-provoking, good information. Thank you, Carla. Don't set goals. Well, Michael Tay says, don't set goals, set habits. I'm going to say, don't set goals, set dones. Habits is good, but a done is something that a habit is something that gets you doing it, but I want it done, finished, completed. Thank you. That was Michael Tay. And Michael, since you're typing there, tell me, Michael, what time is it in Malaysia right now? I want to type it, Michael. Say hi to your lovely wife. Malacca, 6 a.m. Oh my gosh, 6 a.m. We got people from Africa, people from Japan, people from Malaysia at 6 a.m. Michael, you're amazing. Michael is an amazing human being. He is amazing. Love you, brother. Okay, come on. Anybody? What other questions you got? Any comments? Thoughts? Iron's at 11. We got Iron here. Good. How do you help your tenants? Good question. What could you teach your tenants? Have a Zoom call with all your tenants. But shut off the chat so they can't talk to each other. Okay. Okay, last time. Oh, yes. I did promise you. Oh, hey, since you're staying on late, you want a copy of the link to, thank you. You reminded me that you wanted a link to the Think and Grow Rich book as my gift to you. So I'm going to get you the link. Hold on a second. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to copy this link so all of you can copy this link. And here we go. Putting it into the chat. See, it's always good to stay to the end because I always forget stuff I promised. So here we go. I'm going to send this to everybody. And here it goes. So the Think and Grow Rich, narrated by Robert Allen, plus the Think and Grow Rich book. There is the Dropbox link. When you click on that link, somebody should try it, by the way. Try it while we're on the phone so we make sure we did it. Okay, Carrie's on the Zoom call now. Okay. I like it, Ken. Yeah, how to go from a phobic to professional speaker in 90 days. I like it. Yeah, I like it. I think it needs a title. That's a good subtitle. The title, it needs to be kind of special, different, unique. Yeah. It's not here, says Carla. Ken, did you get it? Link not showing. Well, you got to copy the link. Oh, there we go. Ha! That might have helped if I pushed the send button. Okay, there is the link. Copy the link, not the other text that goes with it, just the link. Copy that. Okay, so somebody's asking a question about, they're in the network marketing business, a company I love called RX. They said, how do I sell information rather than products? You would be giving away a book on health. You'd give it away. It's got to be a sexy title. Yeah, you would give away thousands and thousands of books. And those books would become leads, and 1% of those leads become lifetime customers. Yeah, you would give your way to wealth. So that's the answer for Carrie. Yeah, that's how you do it. Okay. Anybody test the link? I want to make sure it works. Don't want to get emails from me saying the link didn't work, Robert. This is, I don't know, what, 20, 30 hours of me recording every single word in Think and Grow Rich, plus the digital book itself. This is the 1937 edition. I want you to read the 1937 edition. If you read any edition after that, it sucks. Because the 1937 edition teaches you things, talks about the Depression. What did we just go through? Hello? So this is just like, you're reading it like the worst possible time in the history of the United States was the Great Depression. We're just going through another one, folks. This is the book you should be reading right now or listening to. Worked for you, Scott, great. Simba worked for, yeah, Paolo got it, Kent got it, Victoria got it, Nikki got it, Omar got it, very good. Yeah. Okay. All right, any other questions I can answer for you? TJ's got it. Bunny's got it. Thank you. You're welcome, Bunny. Kevin's got it. Marlon's got it. Marilyn's got it. Samuel's got it. Good. May's got it. Okay. Well, every time we come, I want to make this worth your while for you to invest the time to be here. So we're always going to have something, either a great guest or some gift I'm going to give you, because it's my purpose in life to teach you. That's why I was born. And some of you I'll work more closely with as a client, but frankly, I want to teach the world. So can you share this link with your kids and your friends? What do you think, Nikki? What should I say to them? Tell me what should I say? What do you think, everybody? Let's have a vote. Should I let her share this link with anybody else? Well, Outwitting the Devil is a very good book. It's a book that was never released until just 4 or 5 years ago.
What did I do?
Yeah, so Sharon Lecter released this Outwitting the Devil. It's got some great stuff in it. Yep, I read that book also. It came out, like I said, 5 years ago. The answer to Nikki is Nikki. Yes, of course. Share this with people. No, of course, you gotta let them know where you got it.
Absolutely.
And just say, got it from Robert. Tell them where we're having a call. Like we have this call every Thursday, successful people. Invite them to come. Of course, these are kids. How old are your kids?
They're 27 and 24.
Yeah, they need this book. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They need this one. Yeah, Outwitting the Devil is a good book. It's true.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a blog on investment opportunities. What more, yeah. Simba?
There we go. Finally back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Leo says, I got a target to sell 100 copies of my Coach U software, the Coach U software, but I don't know how.
Yeah, VCoach is the name.
Yeah,
Okay.
vCoach. Well, so you need somebody to coach you on how to sell your coaching program, right?
No, I'm
Uh,
trying this click funnel. That's why I don't know much about it. I'm working on
Yeah.
it.
Leo, how much is it?
597 Canadian dollar per unlimited.
$597.
Yes, unlimited software for
Okay,
unlimited
so
time.
it's sold to people who do coaching, right?
Yes, they can upload their courses into that.
Okay. Boy, there's so many ways to reach. Do you do any Facebook advertising?
Yeah, I started.
And is it working?
Many people are clicking, but it is not converting. That
Well-
secret I had to know.
Well, you need somebody to coach you on how to do Facebook advertising, because that's the future. And right now we have 10 million people at
Yeah.
home who could be coaches. This is the opportunity of a lifetime, Leo. And
Yeah.
so you gotta get that product out there. And the fastest way to get it out there is to give a book away. Go online, go on Facebook and say how to start your coaching business in 90 days. Tell them
Right.
exactly how to do it, the whole system. Of course, you can't tell them all in the book you're going to give them, because a book doesn't contain enough information for all the questions they've got. So a few of them are going to go, I need this guy to be my coach. And most of them go, thank you very much, Leo, appreciate the book. But 10% of them are going to go, will you coach me?
Yeah.
And you go, well, this coaching program, it does it all for you, and it's only $500. You don't want me, I'm 5,000.
That's true.
So, hey, there's a whole business in there. And
Thanks.
the other question to that is, look at the people who are selling coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Find the top 10 of those people.
Yeah.
Interview them. What makes you so good? Put that in a book.
Okay.
And then everybody in the world is going to want to know what the top 10 coaches have said.
Yeah.
And then it puts you as as the expert of the 10 coaches. So there's a lot of books you can write, Leo, but giving away information, that's why I say every business is an information business. And it's usually that information is free.
True.
Okay, you're welcome, Michael. All right, so it's early in the morning there, right? So welcome to you. Bunny, thank you. Welcome. All right, yeah. Yeah, yes, you could, Carrie. Yes, you could. All right, everybody, must run. God bless. Next week, we're going to be creating an individual link so that you'll only need this one link every single time. You won't need to be reminded. I'll still remind you, but it'll be the exact same link. And you'll just go there at that same place every single time. And we're just this is what is our fourth call? So we're just getting established. How do we make this more valuable to you? How do we make it so it's such an important part of your day, your week, that you just don't miss it? You know, you just schedule around it. You have lunch during it. You know, you block out your screen and you eat lunch while you're listening. You know, how you make it that valuable. So tell me, teach me. You can email me, connect@robertallen.com, and say, Robert, this is how I'd make it more valuable to me. And I'll look at all the suggestions and try to make it better. Okay. TJ, I think you sent me an email on that question on the 101-day plan, and it's hard. It's going to be hard to get for you. It was a 10-year-old book, and I'm having trouble digging it out. If I find it, I'll send it to you. But I'm looking. All right. Good. Yeah. There you go, Ken. All right, everybody. I'm addicted to talking to you because you're so much fun. Let's say bye, Simba in Africa. See ya, Patrick, Bill, Ken, Gail. Yeah, we'll see ya. Your name is blanked out, so I can't read. You were waving at me. I can't read your name. So, yeah, there you go. Sally, We get started next week, Sally. Irene, Victoria, Geralberto, something like that. Leo,
Yeah.
there's Leo from Toronto. Hey, Scott, Laurel, a Japanese name, Kenneth, May, Marilyn, Kara, Sayaka. Oh, Sayaka, good to see you. John, Mike, Sam, look at all these wonderful people from all over the world. Yeah, let's have some fun. Rashid, Josie. Goodbye, everybody. See ya.
Goodbye.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Robert.